respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thính, vì thứ Pháp ngồi gặp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu Pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốt chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hư Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Đắc Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Đế Tam Miệu Nam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士。师父上人，各位出家人，各位上居士，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư và Thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 10th of September 2023. We're here at Way Mountain Temple to continue discussing the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Right now we're on slide 283. It's about the verses uttered by these celestial kings that pertains to the second dhyana heavens. See, even for us in a China world, second dhyana heavens are pretty low, and yet they are ruled over, they're looked after by Mahasattvas. So everything that happens in our world is for a reason. Okay? Rest assured, it's for a reason. You should not blame heaven, don't blame earth. It's supposed to happen. Okay? And so this celestial king in the second dhyana heaven is saying some verses to give us some insights into what he understands and how he sees it, and how these various superior beings got there, and the kind of wisdom they have. And like here, we have our wise people like Mr. Buffet is proud of the fact he makes money. You will notice here in the celestial kings, money never came up. Okay? And so, you see, it's a different kind of priorities. All right? Text, causing those lands to manifest eternally adorned and pure. Such is the expedient emancipation of supreme intent.
悉令严禁常现前，圣念解脱之方便。
284, he's referring to the state of Buddhas now. This is what Buddhas do. And it's actually when Buddhas do these things, they actually are verified, are witnessed, are seen by these Mahasattvas. So you see, it's a rather dangerous thing. If you're in the business of trying to impress people and trying to not be truthful, it's your closest disciples who will denounce you. Because if Buddha are not truthful and they make these claims, it's a Mahasattva, excuse me, but you didn't do that. So it's kind of cool. In Buddhism, and this is why it's funny, many monks and nuns, they don't have left-home disciples. It's a lot of hassle. You have to feed them, you have to teach them, you have to deal with them, and then they stab you in the back eventually. Okay, and when they do that, it hurts a lot more because they are insiders. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. So that's why it tells you that many of these monks and nuns prefer to be by themselves because it's a lot less hassle. Okay? But it's only because they don't understand that they can't grow unless they have disciples. Buddhas didn't become Buddhas unless he had his Shariputra, Mahamoggallana, Rahula, you name it. Okay? Yeah. Anyway, so Buddhas go all over the universe, the Dharma realm. Okay? Lands refers to Buddha land. And he manifests these Buddha lands to draw and better accommodate their disciples. Okay? And so, for example, for us here, we are gathered here in the United States because we all share a common trait. What is that? Republicans? No, I mean, politics again. Okay, what do we have in common? Yes, sister.
We speak English.
But so do Jamaicans. Hey, man. What do we have in common? See, asking about you, you say, oh. What makes us different? Democracy? Trumpism? What is it? What makes us different? Then five, yeah.
Master, is it because we're encouraged to strive to do better?
So do Russians.
No, we're encouraged to strive to do more than what we were given. Like our parents did one thing in their life. We don't have to do what they did necessarily. We can try something else. We have kind of a different way of looking at things.
It's kind of hard to put a finger on what makes us different, doesn't it? Huh? And even you, who've been living here for a long time, you don't even know. Yeah? See, you have a shadow behind you. Yes, one.
Masters, because we were born and raised on Gold Mountain.
Gold Mountain?
The Chinese immigrants called America.
Gold Mountain, I see. We don't look like yellow face to me at all. Huh? What makes us different? It just popped in my head. I don't have an answer. That's why I'm asking you. Huh? Yes, sir. 9.
Thank you, Master. When we have our own legal system with our own rules and the Constitution, which are pretty idealistic, but those ideals maybe never are reached, but the potential is there, through evolution of our society towards those ideals. I think that's what makes it special in a way. Whether that comes into practice or not, that's debatable, but our potential is high here.
Potential is high. It's like, we have pretty good potential. Huh? What is it? You don't know? Huh? Yeah. 3.
Yeah, but is it the freedom of speech?
Freedom of speech?
Because I feel like the ability to criticize or speak of like political party members or anything in politics in general, I feel like our country does allow for us to speak freely about our thoughts.
Freedom of speech, okay? More than
a lot of other countries.
a lot of places, yes? More in California than in Texas. Okay, Florida, for example. Florida, you cannot talk about certain things. It's spelled out in their state regulations. Yeah? Okay, what else? That's only, we talk. You guys are talkers? Yes, 7.
Master, I think the people come to this country because they feel there are more freedoms here.
More freedom?
More opportunities.
More opportunities?
More choice.
More choices? Okay, I buy that. Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. I think in America is also unusual in that it's a melting pot with so many different cultures.
Melting pot, different cultures. You can have lasagna, and you can have tacos, and you have pho. I don't know. What impresses me about this country is this profound respect for the individual and a tolerance. That's underneath all the things you just mentioned. Agree or disagree? We really respect the individual. We respect you're different. Okay? You live la différence. Live la liberté. You know what it means in French? Hooray, the differences. Hooray, freedom. Okay? To me, what's fascinating about the culture here in this country is ingrained everywhere. Even though in Florida they pass laws and so forth, but there's this murmur, there's a dissatisfaction and malcontent that, how could you impinge upon our freedom? How about us? We want a say, to have a say over our own lives, ourselves. That's ingrained in our culture. More so than any other cultures. You cannot use in some other countries to say, I will suspend the individual liberties for the sake of safety anti-capitalism, anti-communism, whatever, you find that there's so many such excuses. Here, collectively, we don't accept it. Yeah? To me, that's so unique. I'm still shocked, for example, personally, that in Thailand, they still have this lèse majesté, meaning that you criticize a king, they put you in jail. I'm not talking about just Thailand, but you can go to other countries. There's similar kinds of situations where you cannot open your mouth and speak your mind. And here, we accept it. He says, there he goes again, trying to raise money from his stupidity. And that's freedom of speech. What are you going to do? Yes, Nine.
Thank you, Master. I think one of the things, there are other democracies even in Europe, but in the United States, our Constitution protects free speech under satire. And you can make fun of anything, almost anything, without getting in trouble here. And there are other countries that are democracies. If you make fun of authorities or political people, you can get charged with fraud, or that's not the word. It's liable. I think that's what it is.
Liable, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. That's not brag. Okay. Enough. Okay. So my point being that we gather here in this country because I think deep down we appreciate the respect for our freedom of choices, personal choices. We highly value it. You can say, I don't like this politician, I don't like the country's going to pot, California is going backwards and so forth. But you go anywhere else, you won't have the kind of multidimensional aspects of culture, of life, of religion, of choices, of sexes, genders, and so forth. That to me is so special. Okay, and that's why the Buddhas understand that. They say, okay, what is when I create this world here? Okay, it's gonna be to draw certain kinds of people who value those things so that I can help them. Make sense? Okay, so that's why, if you want to help people who value individual freedom and respect for the individual, then, you try to go to the United States. If you want to, for example, more authoritarian, then you go to, Middle East, for example. That's the kind of culture, when you think about that region, it's like that. Okay? And so that's the nature of Buddha lands. The lands are designed because they have a common denominator. Okay? And for the Saha world, for example, what is our common denominator? We love to suffer. You don't have to think. He said, oh, this hurts so much, I like it. We can handle it. We're very proud of the fact that no matter how hard it is, we can handle it. Agree or disagree? Most of us say, I know it's tough, it's so hard, but you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'll get up again. I will not stay down. I saw in those boxing movies, stay down, man, stay down. No, I'm not staying down, man, you have to kill me. I can take it. It's so cool. That's just our world. We can take it. We can endure it. And don't ever forget that. No matter how difficult it is in your life, no matter how bad it looks right now, how good it looks right now, you still can endure it. More goodnesses and more of the badnesses. Okay? Whereas, for example, in the Pure Land, what's the commonality in the Pure Land? They are risk averse. They don't like changes. They don't like taking chances. They hate suffering. So if you, among those you who are here, who've been enduring a lot of suffering, and say, enough is enough, that's when we send you to the Pure Land. See? Isn't that cool? And those in the Pure Land, it says, oh, it's so boring here. Then Amitabha Buddha sends you over here. How dare you call my Buddha land boring? Yes, 3.
Yeah, but Thầy, in the Pure Land, is there the concept of boredom?
I will get bored. I only speak for myself. Okay? So technicalities. Okay, so those lands I can manifest, and they manifest Buddha lands as adorned and pure. And the question is, the Saha world is adorned or pure? What? You have to think? Is our world adorned? Is our world pure? What? I see some head shaking. I'm not sure. Is it samadhi or... Yes, go for us.
Yes, I think it's adorned and pure.
She thinks they're adorned and pure. Have you been to Rosemead, man? Yesterday I drove to Long Beach, and we went this marina estate, the area where all the houses are custom made, custom built, and it looks and I look and say, it must be nice to live here.
So, Master, I cheated. I happened to read the Avatamsaka Sutra yesterday, and then it says that it's pure, but it's just because of our minds is pure. Our minds are not pure, so that's why we see the...
Darn, I hate it. Don't you hate it when people steal your thunder?
Sorry.
Moving on. Such is expedient emancipation of supreme intent. Okay? So, Sheng Nian. So this is what this particular Mahasattva by the name of supreme intent, that's what he experienced himself. That's what he saw for himself. All right? Next. He rendered homage to all dust-come ones, numerous as dust motes in oceans of lands.
如诸刹海，为陈述所有如来咸敬奉。
Okay, 286. I'm not sure what homage means in English, but it came from Chinese. He says that when bodhisattvas, when Buddhas were cultivating as bodhisattvas, they rendered homage to all the scum ones. Actually, homage here came from a Chinese, respect, and feng. Feng is to serve, to make offerings, to have faith, to worship. Okay, so all those feng here is multidimensional, if you will. Okay, respect is from the heart. The driving force of it is tremendous respect. Okay? And because of that deep respect there, they feng, they serve, they make offerings, they worship, they slave for them, and so forth. Is that clear? Is that equivalent to render homage? No. Somebody said, no. And somebody said, yeah. The other, samadhi, samadhi, samadhi. Huh? What does it mean? Does it really mean render homage? Yes, 5.
I think normally they would say he would pay homage, to pay homage, as opposed rendered.
Equivalent. There's not
but
much difference.
You would normally hear pay homage.
Render is more literary.
I guess. I don't know that one. But it would be, to pay homage would be to make offerings, show your respect. It sounds like it means basically the same thing.
Personally, I don't like render homage because I want to make it clear that the homage here has 2 components, is to respect and to serve or to aid, to help. And so we're talking about respect which is inside of your heart, okay? Because you can pay homage to the king by sending an ambassador and offer gifts and gold coins and so forth, okay? That's to render homage. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you respect the emperor or the king. Actually, you resent it quite often. What did you do to get my taxes? My homages. So that's why I have a problem with this all. It's not equivalent at all based on our cultures. For the Chinese culture, it's very clear. There's a deep, profound respect, okay, for the Buddhas. What does it mean, respect for the Buddhas? This is very important, folks. How do you respect Buddhas? How do you respect Buddhas? It's different from how you respect Master Xianjie. Is there a difference, first of all? I'm not asking you, sir. I'm asking them. Is there a difference between how you respect the Buddha versus how you respect your teacher? What's the difference? This woman here used to do Tibetan things. I do mantras constantly. Yes, 3.
Yeah, but does it depend on your mind, how you show respect?
How you show that? Okay. What's the difference? How do you show? What's the difference?
I feel like it depends on your level, because if you have a non-discriminatory mind, then there is no difference. But then if you are still at a level where you have discriminatory mind, then you would show respect differently.
Okay. Yes, 1.
Master, the teaching of Buddha is to respect everyone.
Okay, respect everyone. Respect the homeless people who are vandalizing your church. Okay, let me work on that. Yeah. 2.
Thank you, Master. Master Jay, with all due respect, when I see Master Jay and I say hello, I put my hands together and I...
You don't mean it.
Like a half bow, yeah.
Okay.
I mean hello, yeah.
Okay, you mean it.
I can't say that I've met a Buddha, but I can only imagine if I didn't just totally just go, mouth wide agape, like, oh, and be totally awestruck. I think I would just stop whatever I'm doing and just full bow on the floor, not get up.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. The respect you have for him, is that the same kind of respect you have for, I hate to bring her up again, your wife?
No.
How is it different?
Thank you so much for asking, Master.
Yeah, getting hot or what?
For Master J, I have spiritual respect. For my wife, I have a worldly and spiritual respect. Because I have to live in this world with my wife, but Master J I get to see when I come to temple and cultivate.
Don't use big words. Can you just use simple English? Like I like the Zanya, or, I like her yelling at me and telling me to clean up. Things like that, I want English, folks. Don't throw words at me or mudras at me. You are so lucky you don't have to see this. I have to face it, every second. She's throwing mudras at me or what? Yes. Yes, 7 in the back. What's the difference?
The level.
Level.
So when I speak to Master XJ, I don't feel as intimidated if I have to speak with you, Master. So it's the level.
The level. Level. For him, it's level.
No, not level. I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you like shorter, you respect shorter men.
No.
Okay. Anyone else? Can I propose this? I don't know about you. Okay? When I respect Buddhas, to me, is different than my respecting Master YongHua, for example. What's the difference? Can I share with you? Buddhas is that I have no doubt in my mind. Whatever he says, okay. But Master YongHua is like, really? And that comes from a deep respect that was earned. Respect is earned, folks. It's not given to us. It's not conferred upon us. We have to earn it. And Buddhas earned it. So the kind of respect we have for Buddhas is quite different. It's sort of like, if you will, blind faith. You agree or disagree? It's a very special kind of respect. That's why I wanted to emphasize that the two components here of render homage is, number one is respect. A special kind of respect. Okay? That's earned. And that constant will never change. Whereas when you respect him today, but next week, when he starts acting up, you say, I don't know. How could I respect him that much all these past few days? You know what I mean? Our mind changes. We change our mind in terms of respect, in terms of valuing things, okay, judging things, assessing things. But when you respect for the thus come one here, it's just no questions. Because it's earned. It's not blind faith where you respect, like what do you have, Waco, Texas, or whatever, these people, they respect their spiritual leaders, okay? But in back of their mind, so you want me to drink poison to kill myself? They do it, but in the back of their mind, they hesitate. They have second thoughts, okay? But whereas Buddhas, when you respect Buddhas, is a sense that it's absolute respect. Agree and disagree. It's a special kind of state of respect. And it takes a lot of blessings for you. It's not about Buddhas here, folks. When I bring up respect here, I'm referring to your respect, not the Buddha's. For the Buddha is for your sake. If you find yourself not having enough respect for Bodhisattvas and Buddhas, it's only because you don't have enough blessings. And that because of the level of respect they have, okay, that they are willing to fund, to serve, to make offerings, to slave for, without hesitation. It's not just I'm giving you my paycheck and giving you my lottery ticket winners or whatever. No. It's just like, what else can I do to serve you? What else can I do to make offerings to you? What else can I give you? Is that clear? It sounds simple, but actually this is very profound Buddhist mindset. All right? And he didn't simply, the Buddhas, they didn't simply serve one Buddha, but they served and respected countless Buddhas, as many as the motes in oceans of lands, everywhere. All right, next. 287. He lost no opportunity to hear the Dharma and leave defilement. The Dharma door of the God, wonderful sounds, functions thus.
闻法离染不唐捐，此妙因天法门用。
The English, does it bother you? Second line. The Dharma door of the God, wonderful sounds, functions thus. Is this Chinglish, Vietnamese English, or is it English English? It doesn't bother you. I read many novels in English. I never read anything that runs along these lines. The Dharma door functions thus. Such is the Dharma door that the God wonderful sounds used. Can we speak English, please? Can you change it, please? This is nonsense. The Dharma is meant for everyone to understand. Don't use the word function. Function is from the Chinese yung. Yung here has yung function here in Buddhism has many connotations. This is you should rarely use it because it's context dependent. So don't use it if you can avoid it. Here, this guy here, this God, wonderful sounds, selected this particular Dharma door to become enlightened. Okay? And so what did he do? He lost no opportunity to hear the Dharma and leave defilement. Can you see the connection between hearing the Dharma and leaving defilement? Why didn't he just say hearing the Dharma? But he says hearing the Dharma and there's an and here. That's not emphasized. And leave defilement. If I didn't stress this, you would have glossed over it and say, oh, it sounds good. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. That was actually going to be my question. So if there was an opportunity to hear the Dharma, but you wouldn't leave defilement doing so, he would miss that opportunity?
That's right. No, it's just that every single chance he can, he would listen to the Dharma. For example, you drive. He's driving on the freeway. Okay? Instead of thinking, he turned on the MP3 file on the radio, on the, what do you have it, podcast? Xin, what do you have on your car? Podcast? My podcast? You listen to the Dharma. See, every single opportunity he has, he listens to the Dharma. Okay? He lost no opportunity, meaning that when he has a chance at all, okay, 1 minute, 1 second, 5 minutes, driving to work, driving to go out to eat, huh? There's a slack time here, okay? He would listen to the Dharma. That's what it means. This is very profound, folks. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master, because it's not with the purpose of insulting anybody who's been translating this, because I can't read Chinese, so I can only imagine how that translates to English. But if I were to say this back so I understand it, the Dharma door of the God of wonderful sounds is listening to the Dharma at every opportunity and leaving defilement.
Actually, yeah, it's much better. But actually, the Chinese means that this guy, okay, he listened to the Dharma and left defilement, and that's never wasted efforts. That's what it means in Chinese. It's not just lost opportunity. A lost opportunity doesn't convey the essence of this teaching. Here he says, and don't worry about English too much. I'm glad you brought it up. Okay, if you listen to the Dharma and leave defilement, that is never a waste of time. That's what it seems. That's what he discovered. Is that clear? Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. That's actually my second question then, is like, because I'm noticing it's Dharma with an uppercase D, right? This is big Dharma.
Yes.
So is the teaching and the takeaway here that when we listen to the Dharma, we do leave defilement?
That's the second part. First, you listen to the Dharma, okay? And never mind about lost opportunity yet, okay? Drop it. It's not that important. The point here is that he listened to the Dharma and left defilement. What does it mean, left defilement? There's a pair here. There's a couple. Listen to Dharma and leave defilement. It's a very, very subtle but critical piece of information. And that's what makes you different from the rest, because when I talk about these things, you're interested. Whereas in my master's time, they listen, opportunity to hear the Dharma and lead defilement, that's wonderful. No, there's very subtle teaching here. It's so important. That's what that's what separates the boys from the girl, the men from the boys. All right? So, let me explain to you. Many of you have been doing this. So many of you have been doing this, but you don't realize the superior approach that you chose to cultivate. And now I'm very proud because I've been watching, hearing so many of you in San Jose, in Korea, in Wei Mountain Temple, I think, occasionally, okay, that there's a process here that makes you so different, makes you improve so much faster than many of your peers and your co-cultivators, is that you listen to the Dharma and left defilement. Meaning what? Meaning that, and I've been told so many times by so many people, and I say, wow, impressive. How impressive, but I never said anything. Why? Because I prefer yelling at you than praising you. You know what I mean? Okay? And so, what these people, I notice, they for example, they would like, don't make progress at all for a while. And then all of a sudden, they decided to listen to the Dharma because they said, I'm fed up. Master says everyone else around me is improving. I'm not improving. Okay? So I said, what happened? So they decided, okay, they come to the temple more often than I do. So I tell you what, they go to the temple, but I listen to the Dharma while I'm driving. We'll have a break, lunch break, coffee break, okay? And they listen to Dharma, and what they do, they listen to Dharma, and they said, how do I apply this to my life? And they improved. They improved because they left defilements. Shh, don't tell them. Just us. Edit out this part. Put it in the paying section. Yeah? And that's why. And all of a sudden, they're making leaps because they listen to Dharma and they said, wow, I like this. How do I use it in my life? When you use it in your life, that's equivalent to leaving defilements. Because the Dharma that you like, the Dharma you hear, is about leaving defilements. If you act upon your knowledge, it's called leaving defilements. Whereas the people who listen to the Dharma, like many of the bookworms, of the scholars, they love to listen to the Dharma. They say, wow, this is so logical, it's logical, it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful of a tapestry that they build in the Buddha is weaving. So they enjoy it intellectually, but they fail to understand that is actually describing who they are. It's about them, not Buddha's knowledge. It's not about knowledge. It's about what do you do with that knowledge. How do you live it? And that's why many of my disciples suddenly leaped. They leapt. So this used to be the case when Master YongHua was alive. He would speak the Dharma and we listen, okay? And they decided to leave defilement. That's why they improved. Now, no one's speaking the Dharma anymore, okay? Because Master YongHua's Dharma that he spoke was for my generation, not for you, unfortunately. Each generation has its own particular needs. Millennials versus baby boomers versus Gen X, Gen Z, and so forth. They are all different. They don't speak the same language anymore. Does it make sense? So that's why during my time, when I listened to his Dharma, even when I read his Dharma, I said, wow, this is so cool. Why didn't I think of it? But now when these people, when you people look and listen to his Dharma, I say, yeah, it's Chinese, man. I want something American. Sound familiar? And that's why it doesn't click with you anymore. So you have to speak Dharma eventually. When you really want to help people, you have to speak Dharma. Because I saw how we use in my generation, we listen to Master Hsuan-Hua's tapes, that's all I have. But the Qin generation, the later generation, they also did what I did. They listened to the tapes too, more than I did even. Okay? I listened to his tapes for 7 years. They listened to his tapes for 30 years now. They're getting nowhere because it's Americans listening to Chinese Dharmas. There's a disconnect. Cool? She disagreed. See, violently. Got that? Isn't it beautiful how these simple verses actually are conveying very profound dharmas that were cultivated successfully by Mahasattvas. We're talking about how Mahasattvas cultivate. Thank you. Please. That's how he became enlightened. Listened to Dharma and left defilements. That's how he became a Mahasattva. Who says you need 42 hands and eyes? (289) The Buddha, throughout measureless oceans of great aeons, expounded the grounds with peerless skill in means.
佛于无量大劫海，说地方便无伦比。
Okay. So Buddhas continuously and endlessly speak Dharma. What does it tell you? Why does it speak Dharma? Because you need to hear it. The light doesn't go off in your head? No? You say, okay. Buddhas have the highest wisdom ultimately. Everything he does is to benefit us. Every single thing he does is for our sake. And what does he do? He speaks Dharma endlessly because we need to hear it. You hear that? You know that Rolling Stones has a new album? Can't wait to buy one. Yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, they like they're 100 years old by now. Anyway, so speaking of listening, I'd love to listen to Rolling Stones for the heck of it. But it cannot replace the Dharma, okay? So Buddha speaks the Dharma endlessly, okay? And what does he do? He expounded, okay, the grounds. 方便无伦比, yeah. So they expounded the grounds. Or this grounds here refers to your support, the foundation, or where you stand on, your base. Okay? To build your wisdom, you need bases. All right? 291. What he said remains infinite and unending. The God sound, a wholesome reflection, understands this meaning.
所说无边无有穷，善思因天知此意。
Okay, 292. What he said remains infinite and unending. How can he say something that's infinite and unending? Is that what you wanted to ask, 6? I can wait. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Master. This is surely depression talking, but because it is true that the Buddha has spoken for limitless asamkaya aeons, the true and profound teachings, of the wisest teachings ever, why can't we hear them? You know, like what is obscuring us from wisdom? What's more powerful than wisdom that's obscuring us?
That's a tough one. Because we have limitations. Just off the top of my head. I can't hear what people are talking downstairs. They're probably gossiping and say, Master, Master, they're gossiping down there. I love to hear it, but I can't. You got my drift? Just because the Buddha says and speaks the Dharma doesn't mean we're able to hear it. Some will be able to hear it, but not all of us. Okay. Is it acceptable? No, not acceptable. I don't care. How can his teaching be infinite and unending? Dharma and the Dharma Flower Adornment Sutra has 40 chapters. It's finite. It's not infinite. What they're referring to is that the meaning of his words are infinite. What does it mean, infinite? And inexhaustible, 有穷, is not unending, is inexhaustible. Sometimes they take liberties with the translation, which I feel sorry for them, because 无有穷 here is very Chinese, it's very Buddhist, and yet it's a very simple term. It's inexhaustible. There's no way for you to get to an end of it. Okay, but to say that unending is really having a dog with a short tail. I don't know how I could convey it. Okay? No, I didn't do a good job. Okay? The point here is inexhaustible. There's a difference between inexhaustible and unending. What's the difference? You don't know? It's not really clear to me. Huh? Inexhaustible. Yes, too.
Thank you, Master. I'll take a stab at it. I'm not sure if you want the pedantic version or not, but, inexhaustible means you won't ever get tired. Unending is like a sidewalk that goes on forever.
Yeah. is boundless and infinite, inexhaustible. It refers to the limitations of your mind, of your capacities. Okay, you can only absorb so much, but actually, what he's offering to us is boundless, more than we can absorb. Inexhaustible meaning that there's no way we can fathom. Its depth, its benefits. Yes, 9.
Thank you, Master. Is this kind of like when you listen to the Dharma one time, you only understand so much, you can listen to it a year later, and now you've seen new things that you didn't see before?
Absolutely. Okay, because of your own your current limitations, you can only grasp so much. When you improve, okay, then you go deeper and deeper and deeper, endlessly. That's what's so beautiful about the Dharma. Don't think you understand. Okay, don't be like scholars, people who are bookworms. Oh, I know it. I heard of it. Of course, I know. No, you don't. You're only barely scratching the surface. You don't know. You lack depth. Okay? The God sound of wholesome reflection understands this. Shan Si, meaning that he's very skilled at contemplation. Okay? And contemplating what? The sound. What sound? What? The Buddha's sound. I don't know about you, but I cannot hear the Buddha sounds. He can. Yeah, cool? Yeah? Okay. Is it time yet? Today we're flying so fast, and yet we're covering a lot of interesting aspects of Buddhist teachings. The thus come one spiritual transformations open infinite doors. In a single thought, he can appear in all places.
如来神变无量门，一念现于一切处。
Okay, 294. Buddha spiritual powers can 来变无量门，神变。The spiritual transformations are infinite. Infinite doors. Don't have to add open. Because this is interpretation for scholars. They're trying to make it elegant. With the Chinese, it's better not to make it elegant, okay? And stick to the original Chinese. Yes, one.
I'm thinking that this is exactly what Jim was talking about. In a single thought, he can appear in all places. You didn't realize that at one time, but now you do. It's in all places.
Yeah. Okay. What he's referring to in 294 is that the Buddhas have this bag of tricks that we call spiritual transformations, spiritual powers, okay? And they are infinite, 无量门, the infinite doors, meaning infinite Dharma doors, meaning there are infinite ways for us to be saved, to practice. Okay? So the Buddhas, all these Dharma doors, such as 42 hands and eyes, such as reciting Buddha's name, such as lecturing on Dharmas, all those different Dharma doors, okay? Different ways the Buddhas use from his powers, spiritual powers, to instruct us, okay? To help us save ourselves. All right? In other words, okay, all these Dharma doors that you know, that we've been practicing, are extremely powerful. That's a connotation. 神变 here is that the spiritual transformations, the kinds of spiritual powers the Buddhas used to create these various ways of spiritual practices for us are incredibly powerful. Does it make sense to you? Do you agree with me, Chinese-speaking people? I'm taking a lot of liberties today. I'm going way beyond the English translations. Okay? And in a single thought, he can appear in all places. Point emphasis, yes, 6?
I was going to ask, the word shun in like spiritual transformations is in
shun is spiritual.
Yeah, is in contrast to thought, which I don't know what the Chinese word is, but I've read it a lot. This spiritual verse, and then they talk about spiritual abilities, spiritual transformations, and then also like the abilities of thoughts, and they seem to be different words and different things.
Yeah, different things. You're right.
And so, what is it?
It's different. Okay? If I explain it to you, knowing it will not help you. That's why I don't explain. Okay? If once I explain to you, then you say, what about that? I explain A, and then I say A because B implies A. And then you say, explain B. And say B is because C implies B. And you say, okay, how about C? It is D explain that implies D gives rise to C. And on and on and on. I can do that too. Up to 1,000 times. So that's why I don't explain. Okay? It's not going to help you. It only helps me become so smart. Okay. All right. So I want you to understand the gift of this verse here they're giving us. He says, this spiritual transformation, all the Buddhist Dharma doors we practice came from the Buddha. And they are incredibly powerful. Rest assured. Okay? That's all you have to remember. Have faith. They're very powerful. Okay? And in a single thought, he can appear in all places. And the point here is why. Why will he appear in all places? Because Mexico. Because Mexico number 2. 6.
All is mind.
All is mind. Okay. Because speak English, man. Jesus. Because he had to Must I do everything? I mean, just like, okay, had a good lunch today. Hot day, hey. And he should feel lucky that we're not taking a siesta and trying to pretend to be awake. Because, yes, 6.
Because he has to be there.
Thank you. Finally, someone understands me. The emphasis here is that there's a personal connection, folks. There's no substitute for that personal connection if you want to help someone big time. We're not talking about the Dharma, we're talking about you, about how we live our lives. If you want to help someone, show up. Go do it yourself. In person. With your own hands. Be there for your sons, for your wife, your family. Don't talk. You have to be there. That's what you learn from the Buddha. I don't know why it's not clear to you. Am I the only one who sees it? She said, I don't care. Amitabha Buddha will take care of me. You see how beautiful these verses are? They sound so casual, and yet there's very profound connotations. Never mind. I give up. It's okay. His spirits descended, and he realized the way, enacting a great expedient. Splendid sound is liberated thus.
降神成道大方便，此庄严因之解脱。
I don't know how to change this. Okay. Why do you have to add things like enacting? You know, why do you add things? It's like it's perfect already, and you want to add more salt. You know what I mean? It's the clam is I'm sorry. The vegetable is so fresh. Why do you have to add MSG? You know what I mean? It's nothing that pertains. Enacting is an addition. It's not in the Chinese. It's like the Chinese. I think this is a Chinese plot. When they translated, because these people clearly are Chinese, they translated the Chinese original text, they added something to pad it up so that we become fat with dharmas. So we walk around carrying extra dharmas. So devious. Okay? I don't know how to translate it. I don't care to translate it. I just want to explain to you. Yes, JC.
천님의
19, 18. Continue.
네, 부처님의 법이 강력하다는 것을 믿으라고 하셨는데 그 강력하다는 것의 의미가 저희가 어려움에 처한 것을 해결하기에 강력하다는 의미인지 의미이고 또 저희가 깨닫는 데까지 변화하는 것에 있어서 강력하다는 것의 의미로 이해하면 되겠습니까? 어떻게 저희 삶에 강력하게 작용할 수 있는 건지 생각이 되어서 질문했습니다.
Master, here we learn that Buddha's power is powerful. So I have a question about this. Does that mean that solving our difficulty, is it solving our difficulty, is that related to that being powerful? Or is it something like until we become enlightened, there's a lot of changes? Is it related to that being powerful? Or is it something that we could use for our daily lives?
It's like a power tool, if you will. If you were to fix your own problems, you use a screwdriver with your own power, okay? When you use the Buddha Dharma, you use a mantra, you use the Buddha's name, and so forth. It's like having a power tool. So it's the same effort for you, but actually you have much more, it's much more effective for you. You wield a lot more power with the same effort. Make sense? That's what it means. So you have an edge. So for example, to be specific for you, okay? For example, this is what you don't seem to appreciate. It's given to you, but you don't say, oh, what's the big deal? If I teach you Chan alone, like Master YongHua, that's what he did for my generation. He's a great Chan master, so he would teach Chan, teach us how to develop our samadhi power. So, strong samadhi power. But he also taught us mantras. Okay? And so, samadhi power is like your fist. If you use your fist, you wield this power here. Okay? That's your power. Okay? But with mantras, it's like wielding a hammer. It's the same force, but it has much bigger impact. All right? So that's why the Dharma door is like a mantra. This one mantra is one Dharma door. 42 Hands and Eyes has 42 Dharma doors, 42 different tools we can use. Okay? And when you use them, you have bigger results with the same power, the same exertion. Does it help? It's a gift. All right? So, Jiangshen, his spirit descended. He refers to the fact that the Buddha, before they become a Buddha, they are in the heavens. Tushita heaven in our world, for example, is called Tushita heaven. Maitreya Bodhisattva is right there, waiting right there, in the heavens right there. And then, so from that heaven, when it's time for him to become a Buddha, he would descend from the heaven. Okay? And then he realized the way. Okay? Descend from the heaven refers to, is an allusion to the fact that he's taking a loss. He chose to take a loss. Okay? He says, you probably don't know, but the heaven is kind of nice. The Tushita heaven, thy inner court, is like a pure land. It's no suffering. It's kind of cool there. Okay? Very, very chill, if you will. Why would you move out? I would never move out. Okay? But he said, for me to save some people, I have to go down and see them. So I descend from the heaven. Okay? So there's a taking a loss, act of taking a loss right there on purpose. Okay? Number 2, realize the way. To realize the way, I'm afraid the Chinese don't stress this enough. To realize a way, but it's alluded to in the story of the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. In order for Shakyamuni Buddha to realize the way, he endured tremendous suffering, a lot more than you can ever imagine. That's how difficult it is. So please don't come to me and say, Master, I can't sit in full lotus. You know what I mean? Don't talk to me about your suffering. Okay? So the Buddha here says, this is not a phony thing. Buddhas have to endure tremendous suffering in order to realize the way. Okay? And that's called a great expedient. Okay? What a great expedient refers to how Buddhas have to go through these processes to become Buddhas. It's the greatest expedient. Okay? I feel like going to the beach too. Never mind. 5 more minutes, we all go. You guys are so weird. Yes, 6.
Emitofuo, Master. I want to go back to something you said about a personal relationship with just personal relationship. It just really struck a chord with me because I feel like my personal relationship with my good knowing advisor is always telling me like, the person you are is stupid, and like you need to let go of that. And so like, and also that the Dharma is without a self, you know. And so what personal relationship?
GKA is so full of himself.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, get rid of that too. You know, and so arrogant and deceitful. So what personal relationship do I have? You know, like who has the relationship?
Oh, forget that. It's too much.
I feel like it's like an accountant going up to the CEO and being like, "Thank you so much for making the company so I can have a job." They're doing that for me. And it's like that, you know, they didn't do it. That's not what they did it for. They did it to.
And you know what the CEO would say?
You're welcome.
Shut up. How dare you take my time? Just do your job, man. You have to understand. This is what CEO would tell this employee. You know, it's something called hierarchy, where I'm here on top, number 1, and below me there's COO. Below COO there's a VP of finance. Below the VP of finance is a controller. And below the controller And where are you again? What is your pay grade? And you dare come to me and ask me that you don't make sense? Do your job. Do what you're told. That's how you climb up. Don't try to understand. You're trying to think that you have to make sense to me. I'm telling you, your pay grade is too low. You cannot understand. Is it insulting enough? You know, that's what happens in real life. You know, when in my prior life, you know, I say, get out of here. But I'm nicer now. You wouldn't believe it. When I was out there, I would lose my temper, and my employee actually shook out of fear. That's how violent I was. And how gentle I am nowadays. I look at you and say, calm down, calm down. You don't know how difficult it is. Just kidding. Okay? You think too much. We're not equal, man. Remember your pay grade. See how I can learn to insult you better nowadays, huh? Before I used to hit people, simply. Okay, but I realize that lawyers and lawsuits. Okay, and the children here, we don't want to be bad influences on children. You know, you see, I smile and stab you in the back only. Okay, so the great expedient is called becoming a Buddha. That's a jargon here. In this world here, I don't care where you come from, but as far as expedient goes, all the skill it means in Buddhism, the most advanced one, the biggest one, is to become a Buddha. Isn't that cool? We have so much to learn, folks. We're nowhere near. It's below, way above my pay grade as well. So we're gossiping. Okay, that's all. I'm not trying to understand. I'm only gossiping with you and said, this is below, way beyond my pay grade. I don't understand this great experience, to be honest with you. See a difference between me and some people lower in my pay grade? Those lowlights want to understand. Okay? I say, wow, so cool that thing called becoming a Buddha is so challenging. I ain't seen nothing yet in terms of difficulties, in terms of wonders of life. It's so wonderful that to be able to hear of such a thing called great experience is something to look forward to. That's how I look at it. I can't understand it. And so I'm in awe. Okay? I hope it helps. Okay? Yes, it's reasonable to try to understand, but sometimes in order for you to understand, you have to pay your dues. That's real understanding. If I were to tell you, then it's my understanding, not yours. You're doing this in order for you to understand for yourself. That's called true wisdom. Not mine, your wisdom. Okay? And when it happens, I'm very proud of this. When it happens, you go home and you become a better husband, a better wife, a better parent, a better son, a better daughter. You spread the goodness all around you. Because it's you. It's no longer my words. It's your being. That's what this is about. And, time is up. Splendid sound, this is his liberation. This is splendid sounds, door to, this is splendid sounds, liberation. Okay? I can add door to liberation, no need. To Zhang Yun in Jietou, this is splendid sounds, liberation. Keep it simple. One-to-one as much as possible because the Chinese is very profound. Don't try to massage it. Okay? For you future translator and so forth, try to stick to the original Chinese because it's very profound, more than English. Chinese has multiple meanings, more than English. So stick to that semantics, that structure. Okay? Thank you, everyone. We stop here today. Have a nice Sunday afternoon. It's 90 degrees here. Beach days.